Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. As we approach the end of 2024 and head into 2025, we actually have several new updates lined up for pretty early on into the new year between Black Ops 6 multiplayer, zombies, then also Warzone as well. And so today, I wanted to sort of preview and break down what to expect as we do kick off the new year here in Call of Duty, because we actually have several things already confirmed, then a few other things that generally you probably want to look out for. So as we do dive into all the details here, if you enjoy the video, you find the information useful, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. It does help grow the channel, and share the video around to new viewers. And if you happen to be one of those new viewers, or perhaps you haven't subscribed yet, we should change that every single day. This is your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about Call of Duty. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But first up here, pretty early on into 2025, just a few days after the new year kicks off, we're actually going to see a slight update to conclude some things in Black Ops 6 and Warzone, primarily the new events. So obviously right now we've got Archie's Festival Frenzy going on and all the LTMs going on with that. However, on January 3rd, these are going to be coming to a close. The current playlist update that we have set for Warzone, featuring Sleigh Ride Resurgence and everything going on there, that ends on January 3rd, according to the Trello board and the little graphic that they've posted for that. Then also the Festival Frenzy event, of course, with the new sniper and all the various Jolly Archies that you can find in game, that's coming to a close on the 3rd as well. Interesting that everything's coming to a close on a Friday. Typically, we see these events end on Thursdays alongside the more standard like weekly updates, but I am curious to see if this means that we're going to see some kind of other update associated with the end of these events on that Friday, or if it's just simply going to be a timer that expires, then it switches over to something else. As of right now, no info there, but of course, well, surprise, surprise, post-edit Zach here, and we do have a little bit more info here now for a couple of things. One, in terms of an actual update time frame, Raven did actually confirm that yes, early on into 2025, shortly after the holidays, we are going to see another significant update, and this will likely be a full-on title update. I'd have to imagine potentially that 1.65 update. And with this, we actually got some confirmed Warzone changes, but just now as a general update time frame, we should be looking at this a little bit more closely now, quote unquote, shortly after the holidays. Potentially January 3rd could be a nice little time frame to look out for this. But Raven does confirm that shortly after the holidays, we are going to see several new gameplay updates take place, including movement updates in Warzone to increase fluidity, resolve numerous issues with perks and various different challenges. There should be faster mantling speed. Perks are going to be rebalanced in some capacity. Combat records will be updated. You'll be able to close doors while running. Various different, quality of life updates like that seem to be coming here with this update. So definitely some cool stuff there. Then beyond, they also tease more audio updates, lighting updates, input updates, and then different bugs and glitches getting attacked as well. So, obviously with the holiday break, it does kind of put a pause on several things they're looking into. I'll talk about this a bit later on into the video, but once they are fully back in office, things should be a little bit more consistent with small and large updates moving forward. One thing that I am definitely keeping my eye on for potentially that January 3rd update or shortly thereafter is actually a brand new update for zombies featuring the director mode or the directed mode for Citadel Day More, because back on the latest episode of the Call of Duty podcast that they do, Treyarch did confirm, very quickly, and they sort of just glanced over it real quick in the podcast, but they said, quote, very early on into January and into the new year, we are going to see this zombies update to have directed mode on Citadel. So you can get like the sort of walk through, through the Easter egg if you're interested in doing that with like the whole quest line there, or if you just want to cap out your rounds there and just play the game without having to stress about going up to 25, 30 and having 1 million manglers chasing after you every single round, right? So we are going to see that update, like I said, according to the devs, very early on into the new year, which is interesting because nothing else has been described as very early on. We do have another significant content update though detailed for January, and this actually comes directly from the Call of Duty blog detailing Season 1 Reloaded when that dropped a few weeks back, and this is actually one of the more interesting crossover updates it seems like we may ever have in Call of Duty. And of course what I'm talking about here is the Squid Games crossovers. So the blog post from Season 1 Reloaded did detail that Netflix's Squid Games is coming to multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone. So this is going to to be a game-wide crossover. And it just so happens that as I was in the midst of recording this, we ended up getting some reveals. They actually dropped a full-on trailer for the Squid Games update on Christmas, surprisingly enough. I don't remember the last time we had marketing on a holiday, but nonetheless, we got a new trailer for this. We've already obviously seen a couple of preview images and little teasers here and there showing off some of the various different operator skins that we presumably are going to have as a part of this event. But then the full-on trailer for it actually gives us a much greater look at the full extent of this crossover event and of this update. So it'll actually have new LTMs and new modes, it seems, for multiplayer, Warzone, and even zombies as well. So it will, as I mentioned, be a game-wide update and a game-wide crossover. Of course, the trailer features a lot of marketing based on their monetization, their MTX, their microtransactions with the various different operator skins. We got a bunch of different Squid Game skins that are shown throughout the trailer. And then it seems like a couple of different LTMs like red light, green light, and then some other stuff going on in game as well. So definitely a very significant event update as a whole. Another date to look out for, though, in January is actually the 28th, although this one is rather confusing to me because the 28th, if you go ahead and look at the Battle Pass countdown timer, is the supposed end date for Season 1, and that's when Season 2 would start. However, that end date is actually a Tuesday, which doesn't line up with the typical update days. Those are usually happening on Wednesdays, so that would be the 29th in this case, but also that seems like it's pretty far out. And there's not much else planned for the remainder of Season 1, obviously outside of what we've just discussed here. Like the first, maybe second week of January, we get a couple of updates. I'm more surprised that we're not seeing Season 1 end around like the 14th or the 15th, the middle of January, just from a, keeping the game fresh standpoint. I feel like obviously interest right now is already in a shaky place just because of the state of the game. But as we get more, into January there and there's less updates in terms of content and then new seasonal stuff, probably is not going to help a ton with retention either. So really surprised that Season 1 seems to be lasting this long, although as mentioned, still kind of confused about that end date. So I'm wondering if that's just like an incorrect countdown on the Battle Pass timer, and maybe they'll be updating that at some point in the future. We're going to have to keep our eyes out for that as well. And then to close things out, a bit more obvious, but of course, as we roll into the new year, the devs are going to be returning from their major holiday break. And that's, of course, when we're going to start to see more consistent gameplay updates drop. As I just alluded to, the game is not necessarily in the greatest state right now. We know we've got certain updates already coming with Season 2 and Season 3 down the road for things like the anti-cheat, but as far as gameplay fixes go, maybe some actual responses to some of the more significant issues, sort of overshadowing everything in COD right now as a whole. We should see ideally more responses and more updates for that stuff as the devs are back from break and they don't have anything on the horizon ready to interrupt them as they're trying to get through the workflow like they obviously have had prior to this break, where it's like, okay, Season 1 Reloaded dropped, game is super broken, so we got to try and push out whatever we can before we're on break, and then it's just like the skeleton crew maintaining the game. So once the devs are fully back here in the new year, that means we should be seeing a lot more consistent updates and hopefully a lot more impactful updates as well, attacking some of those major issues and problems with the game. But as of right now, those are some of the first initial 2025 updates that we've got set for Black Ops 6 multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone. That's going to wrap things up. Of course, in the coming days, we should be learning even more about what's to come here, so stay tuned for that alongside everything else going on in COD by hitting that subscribe button and turning on those post notifications. And if you enjoyed this video, a like rating on your way out would be seriously appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.